Okay, how do I look? How do I look? I think I look good. Okay, so hi everybody, welcome back to another one of my videos. I feel like the lighting looks a lot better now than my other videos. I suck at lighting, and it's crazy because like I buy different type of lighting, but I think it's just me. Like I'm not I'm not like knowledgeable enough to know about like lighting, you know, but I feel like right now we're good. Anyways, let's get into the story time. So I know I haven't done a story time in a long time. The story time is gonna be about the time my ex-monster-in-law stole my baby's bassinet. So if you want to watch, just keep on watching. Okay, so as many of you guys know, if you guys have been following me, my family, or if you're new, I was with my daughter's dad for a very long time, for like 7 years. My daughter's 5, but we've been broken up almost like a year and a half already. So anyways, I lived a very toxic relationship when I was in that relationship, even prior to having my daughter, or even with after. The whole relationship was just like fucked up. Anyways, and his mom was, I hope you guys don't mind me talking Spanglish, but his mom was like no better, dude. And I think that's the reason why like he was such a toxic person. Was one big reason was his fucking mom, dude. Like this lady, like she's not even like a lady. Like she's a bruja, dude. Like I don't know how else to explain it. Like, dude, she is like the biggest bitch you'll ever fucking meet in your life. And I know a lot of people are probably gonna hate me for talking to her about that, but trust me, I lived in true hell with that lady. She would talk shit to me in my face, behind my back. She would disrespect me almost every day. That's the reason why like now I feel like I could say that even though she is my daughter's granddaughter, my daughter's grandma, I have like no respect for her. Like, but I won't disrespect her unless she's disrespecting me, which I haven't talked to her in about 2 years. I haven't talked to this lady in 2 years. So I just wanted to give you guys a little showdown of how our relationship is. So anyways, this lady, she is something else, you guys. It's like weird. Like she wanted to be in a relationship with her son. Like it was fucking weird, you guys. Like she was so jealous that her son was like with me and spending time with me. I mean, like she would get pissed off. Like it was like what the fuck? Like we would go to the store, you guys, and then like she'll be blowing up, like she was always blowing up his phone. And it's like, dude, he's an adult, he's practically married, we have a kid, we moved out, like why are you constantly blowing up his phone? So she's blowing him up, and I'm getting sidetracked from the story time, but trust me, it's good. I remember like we would go to the store and she would like blow up his phone and be like, where are you at? I need you to come, I need you to help me fix this, like any little excuse. And of course, him being a mama's boy, he would drop everything and boom, dude, we had to go, like if it was a 911 emergency. Like I remember one time I was so fucking pissed. We had just gotten to Ross, and I still remember this. Like we had gotten off the stroller. You know how that takes time. We got the baby in the stroller, and his mom's calling him. His mom, she needed like some type of help of translating something. It wasn't even like a big emergency, but of course we couldn't even shop. Oh no, his mom was way more important. We had to get back in the car and rush it. Fucking rush, literally. Like go over the speed limit just to get to her house in time before she starts blowing up his phone more, because of course he needed to get his ass wiped again by his mom. Like that's how this relationship was between them, and it's just so bizarre to me. Like now that I look back to it, and I'm just like, this is weird, but okay. Okay, anyways, that was just a little sidetrack because I know I called her a bruja, but I had plenty of story times. So if you guys like this story time, just let me know and I'll keep doing more story times. Okay, so what was I gonna say? Oh, okay, so when she stole my bassinet. So a little backstory. Well, a little bit more to add to her personality. She's very presumida, so meaning that she loves to show off. Like, she's one of those that she even shows off what she don't have. Like, she lies a lot, and she lies about, like, you know, like, oh, having this perfect, like, lifestyle, and then, like, look at what I have, and look how much money I spent. Like, she's one of those. And I already don't like people like that, just because that's just the way I grew up. I grew up to be very humble. You never tell somebody like how much money you spent on what unless they ask. You never, you know what I mean? Like, you don't go around telling people that, you know? But this lady, and she's like way older, dude. She's like in her 60s. She was like, she would go around like telling everybody, like, like that's just the type of woman she was, right? So I remember for my baby shower. So for my baby shower, you know, my family came. We got a bunch of presents. Like, shout out to everybody. We really appreciated it. And she got me a big present. Like, one of the, we had like four probably, like, you know, wrapped big presents. Hers was one of them. And I remember when I sat down to open up the gifts, right away, like, you know how everybody, like, all your whole family, like all the girls and stuff, like, you go, like, you're all like around, like sitting down, like watching like the girl who's pregnant open up the gifts. So anyways, that's what we were doing. And in front of everybody, dude, like, she kept on saying like, ese es mío, ese allí, el que está allí, ese es mío, ese yo se lo compré con mi dinero, ese, el grande, el más grande que está allá, ese es mío, ese es mío. Dude, so for you guys that don't know Spanish, like, she was literally in front of, and I'm telling, my family's not like that. So in front of my whole family, dude, like when everybody was gathered around, like right before I opened up my presents, like, she was like pointing at her gifts and saying like, that one right there, that one's mine. So like, she wanted to make sure everybody knew that hers was that big, that one. So dude, on purpose, like, I made that one be like the last one that I opened. But like, even throughout the baby, like when I was unwrapping the gifts, she kept on like saying like, oh, this is me. Like, she kept on like emphasizing that was hers. Like, and it's like, dude, I heard you. Like, we all heard you. Like, let me just open up my fucking gifts. Like, she wanted me to open up hers like right there and then. So I opened up hers, and as I'm opening it up, she's like talking for me. She's like saying like, oh, mira, nosotros fuimos, like, her and her husband, because at this time her husband was still alive. She was like, oh, mira, nosotros fuimos a cual tienda y gastamos $200 y nos costó bien caro, pero nos gustó tanto. Like, she's saying all this like loud so everybody could hear. Basically, she's just saying like how much money she spent and how expensive it was, and how good of the lady at the store told her how good of a quality this was, and this was like the highest brand there, and all this, you know, extra stuff that nobody asked her. But so she's over here on the sidelines talking about how great this gift was, or how great this bassinet was, and I'm opening it up and I'm like, okay, like, thank you. You know, like, I didn't ask anyone, not her, not my mom, not anyone, to buy me any gifts. So but of course, you know, you make a baby registry, and by the way, that wasn't on the baby registry, not that that matters, but I was never one, like, you know, when people ask me like, oh, so what do you want for your baby shower or whatever, I would be like, you know, just anything is appreciated. I told that to everyone, and I told them, I was like, well, I mean, but I do have a registry from all types of price ranges, you know. So feel free to check that out if you want. I had something like as low as $5 and something, you know, more on the expensive side. So, but then again, we never told her to buy the bassinet. Anyways, it's getting, I'm just remember that, because I'm getting to the point, later on I'll get to the point of why that's important. So, I never told her that, right? So anyways, fast forward, We have the bassinet, and we're living in the back. So his parents own 2 homes. So a house on this and a house on the other street. We were renting because we were paying rent and all the bills on that other house. So we were renters. It just so happened that his parents owned the house on the other side of the street. But of course, their family acted like if they still lived there. Like they all had keys to the house and they used to like all fucking walk in like if it was their house. That's a whole nother story time for a whole nother time. Like, dude, okay, so sorry, sidetracked. So like an example, dude, I remember one time the baby, she was like a month old or whatever, and I was breastfeeding. And like, you know, when you breastfeed, like you have your baby, you know, on the bed with you, and like, you know, you just have like, you're kind of topless because like the baby just latches on to you whenever. So I used to do that. And I was just a stay-at-home mom, and my boyfriend at the time would go to work early in the morning. And I remember one time, it was early in the morning, it was probably like 6 o'clock in the morning, and he had left already to go to work, and I was sleeping on the bed with the baby, and of course my boobs are out. And then I hear the door shut, and I was like, what the fuck? I was like, is somebody breaking in? Like, what is that? You know, like, who is that? And then like I look, or I get up and I'm like hearing, I'm like, no, I don't hear anyone. And then I called my boyfriend. I was like, hey, like, and I told him like somebody just closed the front door and like locked it. Like that was weird. And then I was like, can you ask one of your, it had to be obviously one of your family members, like, can you ask them like why in the fuck, what did they want, like why were they here? And I also told them, I was like, you know, I was sleeping with the baby, the bedroom door was open, and you know, my top was off. And then so anyways, he starts investigating, calling his family, and it turns out, dude, that his brother was the one that came into the house for no reason. So he didn't live there. Keep that in mind. His brother had no business going inside a house, but they should just fucking go in there. Like, I don't know for what, dude. It was fucking weird. Like, sorry, I'm cursing a lot, but it was just weird. Like, it was just me, the baby, and my ex that lived in that house. Like, there was nothing that belonged to the brother in there. So why was he in there? I don't know. And my boyfriend asked him like, why were you in the house? And like he just had like some stupid ass excuse saying like, oh well, he's like, I had forgot that you guys moved in there. We've been in this house for like how many months? How do you just forget? And you've been living in that other house with your parents? Like, are you fucking, no. And he said supposedly he didn't go inside the room, but then again, I was sleeping, so I don't recall if he did go inside the bedroom or not. You know, I really don't know. He's saying he didn't. If he's seen me with my boobs out, I don't know. So anyways, that is invasion of privacy, and that's how his family was. Anyways, that was just a little side story. Okay, going back to the story. Okay, so we have the bassinet right in the bedroom, obviously like any other freaking parents. And at the time, okay, sorry, I forgot to say, yes, I was a stay-at-home mom and my ex was working, but I was going to school. I was a student at ASU, but I was like going to the one in Tempe, so it was a far drive, and so I was an in-person student. Right now I'm an ASU student too, but I'm doing online schooling. Anyways, so if you guys know, like, I live on the west side of like Phoenix, and it's a far ass drive to drive all the way to Tempe. I had class like 3 or 4 days a week. I was like a full-time student, so it was hard, you know, like having to drive and come back and whatnot. So anyways, my baby was probably about 3 months at this point when this all happened. It just so happened that that day, I'm trying to think because it happened so long ago. Okay, so at that time my baby was probably like 3 months old, and it was one of the days that I had to go to school. So I got up, I went to school. I was there like all freaking day, dude, and like my boobs were like, dude, it was like the worst. Like my boobs would hurt of like, you know, when you're breastfeeding, like all like the milk, and like, you know, like right before, like when you start leaking, like, you know, because you haven't seen your baby in a long time. And dude, this is another fucked up thing his mom would do. Like I used to tell his mom too, like sometimes like she used to want to watch my baby, so I used to let her, and I used to tell her like, you know, like around this time, after this time, please don't feed her, because I should be home within like an hour or two, and I'm gonna have a lot of milk and I want to feed her, like to release that. But the bitch on purpose would feed her right before, like 10 minutes before I used to walk into the door, and she used to be like, oh, like say some stupid ass excuse. So anyway, she used to always do that, and I know she used to do it on purpose, because like every freaking time, dude, like I'm telling you not to feed my daughter, so that when I get home, not, I mean to feed her, but don't feed her like 2 hours before I'm gonna get home, because I need to put her on the boob, you know, type of thing. But anyways, so this day I remember I was already kind of like frustrated, because again the whole boob situation, you know, like I was, and then dealing with traffic, like coming home, it was like late, it was like 5 or 6 in the afternoon. My boobs were like, oh, they were so sore, and I was just driving home behind traffic, so I was already frustrated, right? I get to my house, and then I go to the bedroom, and I'm like, something's missing, like something's not in its place. And then I start looking around, and I'm like, where is the baby's bassinet at? And I'm like, I don't see it anywhere. So I go out to the living room, and I don't see it there, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, what happened to it? Like, where did it go? So I called my boyfriend, well, you know, my ex, whatever, and I'm like, hey, did you take the bassinet with you somewhere? Like, that's pretty fucking weird. I was like, it's not in the room, it's not in the living room, like, where is it? And he was like, oh yeah, my mom took it back. Wait, what? Your mom took it back? What do you mean your mom took it back? He's like, yeah, you know, she, and I told her it was okay, and I was like, okay, that's nice. Thank you for consulting with me to see if that was okay or not. You know what I mean? I was like, well, what do you mean she took it back? He's all like, yeah, she went into the house, and she grabbed it from the bedroom, and then just took it back to her house. And I was like, but for what? Like, is she gonna put the baby there? Like, what? He's like, no, she's gonna give it to my sister. What? You guys, so his sister had a baby that was a few months younger than my daughter. So my daughter was born in April, and then her little girl was born in June or July. And I guess this lady, his mom, decided to go inside my house, steal my bassinet, because I didn't give her permission to take it back. Take the bassinet back and give it to her daughter, because her daughter was having a baby. And I'm like, okay, well, that's fucking stealing, but whatever. And he's like, no, it's not, because she bought it with her own money. Yeah, but you just can't be buying people gifts and giving it to them and then expecting it back, like taking it back. Like, what the fuck? Like, who does that? Like, I was not raised like that. Like, you guys are like fucking weird to even think that. Like, when you give somebody a gift, that's their gift. You can never take it back. Anyways, apparently, and that rule does not apply to them, because they be taking a bunch of shit back, dude. I have so many other story times. Like, they literally take everything back. So I was like, what was like brand new? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not even like that old. Like, why would she just take it back? Like, I was so confused. Like, I didn't understand. And at the time, I was also frustrated, mind you, because I was stuck in traffic, I'm hungry, and my boob situation. And he was like telling me like, yeah, Jasmine, I don't see what the big deal. He always had his mom's back, you guys, never mind. He was like, yeah, Jasmine, I don't see what the big deal is if the baby's already growing up, and you know, she doesn't fit it anymore, and this and that, and blah. And like, okay, like I get that my daughter is already probably in that stage where she's growing out of being in a bassinet, but tell me, ask me, you know what I mean? It's a principle. Like fucking ask me if you could take your gift back because you can't afford to buy your daughter another one, and give in because you want to give it to your daughter. You get what I'm trying to say? Like don't just go in my house and take it, you know, without my permission. Like ask me first. But that's how stuck and, how do I say it, like, I don't want to say stupid, but basically like dumb in this relationship where I didn't have a voice. So I know a lot of people were like, well, why didn't you go over there and take it back or tell her something, or, you know, confront her? But I couldn't. Like, I know that sounds so stupid, but like I literally couldn't. Like I was already going through like hardcore postpartum depression, you guys. Like even thinking about it, just I want to cry, because like I went through it really bad and I didn't have any support really. Like I felt like I didn't. Like he never supported me. Again, I was in a very abusive relationship. He always talked down on me, and he would always have his mom's back. So even if I went to his mom and confronted her, like they would all go against me. You get what I'm trying to say? Like they would all essentially kick me out of the house, and where am I gonna go with my baby? You get what I'm trying? Like they were that shallow. They're still that shallow. Like that's the type of family they are, especially his mom and him. So I didn't have a voice. I didn't have money to go get up and go. I felt like I was just stuck in this relationship. I couldn't just go and confront her. I know that sounds kind of stupid, but that's how I felt back then. So I just had to keep all my feelings bottled in, and honestly, that's how they were able to get away with doing so much harm to me, was because they knew that I wasn't gonna say anything or defend myself or stand up to myself. But now, like, the bitch knows. Like they know. Like that's why I haven't even spoken to the lady in 2 years, or like my ex. Like, you get what I'm trying to say? Like, cause like they know. Like what the fuck? What do I have? They don't know me shit. Like I have my own place. Like, bitch, I'm an independent woman now. Like, fuck you and your mom. Like I don't need you guys. So they already know, you know, like if they're gonna come at me sideways, that I'm gonna stick up for myself, basically. That's why they don't even talk to me. But back then she used to talk to me, but she used to talk shit to me. Basically now she don't even talk shit to me because she knows. Anyways, with that being said, going back to the story, I was getting a little sidetracked. So going back to the story, you guys, I go to like, fast forward a little, I end up going to over their house for whatever, with my boyfriend, and then she just like making it like not a big deal. She's just like oh yeah, it's just because like my daughter wanted it. And I was like, okay. Like, and then she like kept on pushing, trying to like get a reaction from me, I felt like, but I was just like blowing it off and like not even thinking about it, you know. I was just kind of like, okay, like, you know, like making it seem like it didn't faze me. But she was like trying to push my buttons. So then anyways, but when my ex got home, going back to that same day, sorry, I had jumped ahead a little bit, before I went over her house and all that happened. But when my ex came home, like we kind of got into an argument. Even though I felt like I didn't have a voice to go confront his family, but I kind of did tell him like, what, like that's not right and blah blah blah. And like, you know, he's telling me like it is right because it's her money and all that. Like we're just going back and forth, right? So I guess in their mind, since she spent her money on it, and even though she gave it to me as a gift, it's not really a gift. Like she still owns it because it's her. Like I don't know how their processing is. Like see, like I felt like telling her, like, señora, si tú me lo querías prestar, pues nomás dime que era prestado. Y en el baby shower, porque no me dijiste a todo el mundo que estaba prestado. y que no es un gift. You know what I mean? Like, be straight up. But anyways, so we get into, you know, the little fight or whatever. Then fast forward, that's when I went to her house and she was like trying to throw it in my face, trying to get a reaction. I felt like pushing my buttons about it. But whatever, some time went by, and a few weeks went by, and all of a sudden I see her and her husband, mind you, he was still alive at this time, come into the house, and they have like a box, and it's a crib, like a crib is in there to assemble. And then my ex looks at me, he's like, see, you're happy now? You made my parents go out and buy you a fucking crib. And I looked at him, I was like, well, what do you mean? Like, they didn't even ask me, or I didn't tell them. Like, no one talked to me about a crib. Like, what are you talking about? Like, they just showed up magically with this crib. And then he's all like, yeah, he's like, because you made a big deal about the bassinet and you got upset. So I ended up telling my parents that you wanted it back and you were upset. But so then they just went out and bought you the crib because you were asking for it. And I was like, I was not asking for them to buy me a crib. I was asking for my bassinet that was gifted to me in the baby shower. So then he was like, yeah, it's like the same thing. Like, you were being a baby about the bassinet thing. So they just went out and bought you a crib because that's what you wanted. And again, like, I kept telling him, I was like, dude, I did not ask them to buy me a crib. Like, what the fuck? Like, no. But of course, like, the whole time that they were assembling the crib, like, they kept making comments like, oh, like, es me costó tanto, and like, I don't know why, like, this baby's so expensive. I already spent money on the bassinet. Now we're spending money on a crib, like, a few months later, and blah 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 blah. And in my head, I'm like, bitch, I didn't fucking tell you to buy my baby this crib. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just wanted my bassinet back. Like, and I didn't even tell you directly. I had told your son. Like, your son should have told you. Nowhere did I tell him for you guys to buy us a crib, you know? But so anyways, that's basically like all what happened. Like, there's not much else to like this story other than that. They were bitter about it, but again, I just like, I tried my best not to let it get to me. Like, I just like blew it off. Like, I would pretend I would be like on my phone when they were like talking their shit. Oh, excuse me. But that was that, you guys. And I have so many other story times. So if you guys like this one, like, let me know. I know I hardly do story times here on YouTube, and I know like my last story time or like 2 story times before, like, my eyebrows and my makeup look horrendous, but I trust me, they didn't look that bad in person. It's just the lighting, you guys. The lighting is everything. So I hope that I conquered and I achieved this lighting, so for my future videos it looks pretty decent, my videos. So anyways, thank you guys for watching my video, and I hope you guys like this story time, or I hope you guys like my other story times. See you guys next time, and check out my vlog because my daughter loves doing vlogs. And check out my makeup videos on Facebook, and keep up with my daily life on Snapchat. Bye. Oh, and shop my makeup brand. It is popping, you guys. I'm gonna leave the link down below. Bye.